Welcome to the November 23rd, 2021 episode of Reactive Consciousness, the in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I'm your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And we have another wonderful show here, but first we gotta talk about more shit that Activision Blizzard is
it just doesn't
screwing the fuck up. So, Bobby Kotick, who is the CEO of Activision Blizzard, basically gave the most, half-assed response to, yo, dude, are you resigning? Which, what he responded was, oh, I will consider leaving if I cannot improve the culture. So that's...
But the problem is, on his end, though. You don't need to improve the culture. You need to not be a shit, yeah.
He created the culture. It's top down, when it comes to culture. So, if I've learned anything, from working in the corporate world, the best, jobs I've ever had have been, run by good CEOs that have, a general... are generally well liked in general. So, it's just kind of funny. Of course, he's not going to leave. He's the guy that's profited the most, probably off of Call of Duty, and all that stuff. So, I mean, he's just a shitbag, and I got a feeling that it's gonna be very difficult for anybody to get rid of him, honestly, just because of how successful he's been. But he is a gigantic piece of shit. I mean, there's no getting around that. However, there are the three major publishers have all come out against him. I didn't read exactly what Sony said what their response was, but I know they definitely didn't were in favor of the people that are complaining about Activision Blizzard. But Phil Spencer, specifically from Microsoft, Xbox, came out and said that Activision, he completely is rethinking his relationship with Activision Blizzard.
No kidding. Yeah, and that's a bold move, too. Yeah,
I mean, as of late, Phil Spencer's actually been pretty great in general. I just in terms of conceptually. He's come out and said a couple really cool things. He also said I think that was last week that he doesn't like the current landscape of NFTs because they are exploitative. Which is wow, he just came out right and said it.
Yep.
Which is pretty great, and especially coming from Microsoft, you would hope that they would take that stance. And it looks like they are. I mean, Microsoft's no angel, but you would suppose that you would want the company that is at the cornerstone of computing, really, to have at least stances on certain things. And that's a good stance. If they're one of the major publishers on both PC and consoles, they are going to have significant sway over whether a company like EA or Activision Blizzard dives into something like NFTs. So if they don't want them on their system, they're of course going to rethink that strategy, or at least do it in a way that is not exploitative, right? And also, one other thing, he said it was his mission to basically he was in favor of emulation. Literally came out and said that he was in the favor of emulation because of the preservation side of it. He said that the company has strived to preserve as best they can, and to allow you to purchase and play games that you have bought before. And it shows. I mean, the Xbox platform is the one that goes back the furthest, and allows you to play the original discs all the way back to the original Xbox. We'll get back into that a little bit later because I want to talk about what Doug Bowser said. But these are like really good things that Phil Spencer has been saying, and it's really good to hear it from a major player in the industry. He's not just some guy. This is like a guy who has sway over how this goes, and for him to come out and say, "Hey, everybody should be able to play the games they want, and they should be available for people to buy brand new if they wish." So that's pretty cool. It's really cool, in fact. And Doug Bowser, who is the North American boss of Nintendo, admonishes the behavior in an internal email as well with Activision Blizzard. The internal email was, of course, to Nintendo employees, but they're thinking of their actions for consequences. They're the ones that I believe the most in terms of that, because they like a game like Call of Duty is a gigantic cornerstone for the Xbox. The Xbox is a huge first person shooter platform. So I would think that they're it would be harder for them to take significant action and not as impact their business, or maybe at least they could put a little bit of pressure on Activision Blizzard to just get a new boss, which shouldn't be all that hard. I mean, you can find somebody to head that company and do good with it. But I mean, I think Nintendo can be like, okay, well, we just won't have any more Activision Blizzard shit on our console. I'm sure they don't care, because their bread and butter is their own games and indie games at the moment. So,
but they had Call of Duty, I think, Black on the Wii, the best version of the game.
Black Ops, right? Yeah,
Call of Duty Black. What am I, like Ninja Gaiden Black? But yeah, I think it was Black Ops.
More like Blick. That was the Mad TV version, or the Mad Magazine version. But anyway, I just thought this was interesting stuff. Of course, none of it actually means anything until they take actual action, but to say it publicly is also a thing as well. So saying something publicly against a company like that, especially when they're a major partner, is a big deal. So that's pressure to begin with. So sooner or later, the board members are not going to put up with this crap anymore. They want to get back to making games and having a reliable brand, and this kind of crap is bad for business. It really is. So we don't need that. So moving on from that, I don't know if you want to say anything else about that, Lotus, but
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, going along with that, off of what I said about Phil Spencer's stance on emulation and preservation, the Xbox platform has added a ton of new backwards compatibility titles to the Xbox Series and Xbox One platforms. So this is really great. This is going all the way. There are original Xbox games on here that people have wanted from the beginning to be on this, and they have some of the best backwards compatibility emulation of any company I've seen, because they actually improve frame rates of a lot of the games that they put on there, and they really become like the best versions of those games. They upscale them like natively to 4K as well. So you're playing like OG Xbox games like the way you always wish you could play
Ninja Gaiden Black in 4K. Like that game looked gorgeous back in its day on a CRT. Like imagine that now.
So it's worth noting that you can already play all of the Ninja Gaiden games, all the Xbox ones, I should say, 1, 2, and 3. It's Black, 2, and 3, Razor's Edge, but they did add some other Team Ninja games, Lotus, which...
Xbox finally got Metroid Other M?
That's funny. But no. But they did add
Dead or Alive 3 for real?
They added Dead or Alive 3 and Dead or Alive 4 and Dead or Alive Ultimate, which is 1 and 2. So 1, 2, 3, and 4.
No, that is pretty cool because Dead or Alive... Oh, sorry. No, well, I said 3. I was actually thinking 4 because 4 has been trapped on the 360 for a while.
Yeah, 3 was a launch window game for the OG Xbox, and one of the best fighting games of that era.
Yeah, I forgot. 3 is like classic Xbox title, and 1 was like PS1, but then they got Ultimate 1 and 2.
1 was originally an arcade game built off of the basically like the Sega Saturn type hardware.
Yeah. And you could see it.
Yeah, but it did get ported to both the Saturn and PlayStation 1. It only came to the US
on PS1.
On PS1 though. But they did a remake of it on the OG Xbox since Dead or Alive 3 was so popular.
Yeah, there was like a dual pack of those games, 1 and 2.
Exactly. Oh, it's called Ultimate, and it looks like 3 and
and that's insane. It's like Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. Like, it's a PS1 title, but if you play Twin Snakes on GameCube, it looks like Metal Gear Solid 2, which is insane.
Yeah, no, these were like real, and Team Ninja games were very important to the success of the Xbox early on. So this is a big deal that they're being added. They're important to the history of Xbox. Also added is a fan cult favorite that is now kind of hard to get a hold of because it's kind of like a kitschy game. 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. It's like one of those.
Heard of that.
It's a fun game to play, but it's just like ridiculous in concept and like really like over the top in terms of like the things said and the violence in it. And
I love those games. I might be getting the title wrong, but like Def Jam Vendetta.
Yeah,
where, like you're playing as a million rappers, but like all the stuff they like rap about, you're actually doing. You're just fucking like gunning down people. Like it's like there were 2 games like that. One of them was a fighting game, but the other like had a plot, and you're just
Fight for New York and Vendetta. There were 2 of them.
Yeah. Like one of them, you're just straight up fucking murdering people like it's nothing. And it's like Jesus.
Yeah, Blood in the Sand is like that. It's like 50 Cent in like a Chuck Norris 80s movie, like a Delta Force kind of situation.
Yeah.
But like it takes itself overly serious, and therefore it's not serious at all.
Sure. That's why it's so great. It's like why you watch like fun bad movies where
exactly.
They're not fun if they're taking the piss out of themselves. Like, they're fun when they're really earnest. And the funny thing is, the 50 Cent game, the Def Jam games, they are good, but like
they're fun to play.
Like they're actually good games, but you look at what's happening and you're like, dude, come on.
Exactly. That's the point. I mean, it's not like something bad like Wu-Tang, Shaolin style or something like that.
Well, that was Thrill Kill, baby, which itself is okay, but it would have been super edgy for the time.
I have to add that not only will your old discs work, but you can buy all of these on Xbox Live and play them.
Yeah, if you ever wanted to play as not Master Chief but as a Spartan in Dead or Alive, now is your chance.
Oh yeah. It's a female Spartan, if I remember.
Yeah, no, right. I remember this because our friend Luminaire had this game in college. Like, one of her victory quotes was like, "And that's how you fight like a girl." And you could put a sticky bomb on somebody if you do like a half circle or 3/4 circle throw. It's a pain in the ass, but it does stupid damage.
Another game is Advent Rising, which actually is pretty much a surprise that they're adding this, but this was kind of a fan favorite it's like a cult hit on the original Xbox. It was kind of like a little bit like Force Unleashed before there was a Force Unleashed. It was a sci-fi game that was supposed to be the first in a trilogy that didn't pan out. But you had Force-like powers and you could throw people around.
Okay.
So it had physics to it in an era where that was a special thing.
Yeah.
that it was fun, and it had a decent story for what it was. So that one was a fan favorite. It never sold like it was supposed to, so unfortunately, it bankrupted the company that put it out. What is it? The one that put out Cooking Mama all those years ago.
Oh man, that I
it
wouldn't
starts with
know.
an M.
That I have no idea.
Yeah. Anyway, it
No,
was
no,
actually.
no! Please don't tease a trilogy and put all of your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, no, they really did. They
Like
did
you
that
can't
thing that.
do that shit. Like it pisses me off enough when Hollywood does it, and I know Hollywood can get away with it because they have infinite money. But like when you don't fucking do that. Like
Yeah, it's
do like a
Majesco.
God of War thing where the first game had an ending, and then when they realized people wanted a sequel, they're like, "Oh, okay, I guess we can do that."
Yeah. This was Majesco. Yeah,
Oh,
so they were a budget company that decided they wanted to do AAA games. This was their AAA game, and they failed at it,
yeah.
unfortunately. And it was a good game, and that's the shame of it. It just didn't do as well as they wanted it to. And it's a shame because they had planned like a whole media franchise around it and all this other stuff, and it just didn't turn out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something else that did that, where they were like, "There's gonna be toys, there's gonna be comics," and like just like nobody cared enough about the first entries where it just didn't work. Like, I know there are
Yeah,
other things that have done
I
that.
mean, they got big name people on it. Like, I mean, these are kind of infamous people, but they had cachet at the time. They have Orson Scott Card, who wrote
Wow.
Ender's Game,
Yeah.
and Tommy Tallarico, who also is
Oh yeah,
not doing so
famous
hot right now.
musician for Super Nintendo's Color a Dinosaur.
Well,
That's no,
he's
that's the
more
one and only thing he's ever done.
he's more famous for doing a lot of music, a really good music for a lot of really good games.
Well, he's done a lot of music for a lot of good games, and he's also done the what is it called, Video Games Live, where they do
Yeah,
like
he does. He did
orchestral
video
music.
games for live. He did the music for Earthworm Jim. That's like probably the biggest title. But he
Okay,
also did like the Terminator Sega CD game. He did
okay.
like tons of stuff.
Well, I just remember like this is a deep cut for anyone listening to this, but like, do you remember back when GameTrailers.com existed and they had
Oh,
like
sure,
Screw Attack?
sure.
Because there was an episode where they reviewed Color a Dinosaur like just as an excuse to
The
like.
music's actually pretty good.
Well, that's why it's funny. But
Yeah.
they did Color a Dinosaur like just as an excuse to have Tommy Tallarico on the episode. And it
Oh,
was
that's
super
awesome.
funny because they're doing the episode where they're like, this music's so corny. Like, what is this stupid game, et cetera, et cetera. And like the payoff for the video was Tommy Tallarico like ranting at them like, it was my first time I composed for a video game. I'm on hardware where I have no idea what it is or how it works. Like, what the hell do you want from me? And they just like get like ashamed, and that's how the video ends. It was amazing.
Well, he's also known as like he's a first cousin to Steven Tyler of Aerosmith,
Oh,
the
I
the
didn't even
lead singer
realize
of
that.
Aerosmith. So he also did like the production on the Aerosmith Guitar Hero game,
Oh.
and actually made them more money than any single album had ever made them with that game.
Well,
That
yeah,
game
because
in
it's buying
particular.
a bunch of like it's buying cassette tapes back in the day, which no doubt they sold a lot of, and records probably, but like the rights to all this music in one video game, and everybody and their mother wants it, and it's easier to buy the media at
Yeah,
this point.
and Guitar Hero was at its height when it came out. So
Yeah, like that was just a slam dunk.
yeah, so but anyway, the reason why I say he's a little embattled right now is he's the CEO of the Intellivision brand, and they're having problems coming out with that Miko, and it's but I don't want to get into that. Anyway, let's see other titles that are notable. There are some really good ones. Beautiful Katamari, which was the Xbox 360 exclusive.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's quite a good
because I
entry
keep
as well.
thinking of I always think of 360 and PS3 stuff as like the same, just ported to both. Like I'm thinking like Katamari Forever, but
Yeah, Katamari Forever was the PS3 one, and it is
yes,
a different game.
yeah.
It is a different game. Beautiful Katamari actually had like some unique content that like is worth owning that game for. There's also Binary Domain, which you're a fan of.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was like secretly a Yakuza title the whole time.
Yeah, made by the Ryoga Kotoka studio.
Yeah, like the gameplay is nothing like it at all. Like the gameplay is not Yakuza, but like the cutscenes, like if you only showed me a supercut of the cutscenes, I might think that it was some weird futuristic Yakuza spin-off.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun too. It was one of those games that was a cult hit for sure.
That spider bot was like the coolest thing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I actually haven't played the game yet.
Oh my god. There's
Yeah.
like one of the first big bosses is a spider bot. It's called spider, but it has more than 8 legs. It's just this giant many-legged thing crawling after you, and you're like, oh my god. So you have to like keep shooting at it and taking off its legs, and by the time it gets down to one leg, you're like, well, you need probably 3 legs, bare minimum 2 legs to balance. Got it. But when it's on one leg, it starts fucking hopping around,
Wow.
and it's still like as tall as a building. And
Terrifying.
you're like, no, come on. It's
Oh,
great.
Jesus. The next one that I pointed out was Darwinia Plus. Have you ever heard of or played Darwinia?
I don't believe so.
So Darwinia was a really cool game that originally came out on the PC that was kind of similar to Cannon Fodder. I don't know if you ever played Cannon Fodder.
No.
But it kind of is an RTS blended with action elements, if that makes sense. And
So I don't know if this is going to translate, especially because I haven't played the game myself. But oh god damn it! Oh no, what's that Tim Schafer game where you're like it's like
Populous.
no the game that's designed like for metalheads.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean. The one
Like-
with Jack Black in it. Yeah.
Yes, because that game is like it was advertised as an action game, and then people got it and they're like, oh, it's RTS. Like, is it like that?
Yeah, like kind of almost Pikmin-ish. Almost,
okay.
but a little bit more on the RTS side than those things.
Okay.
Yeah,
Brutal
I mean,
Legend.
Brutal Legend, yeah. Darwinia was really cool because it had a very Tron-like aesthetic
Okay.
in a time when, that kind of thing wasn't super common. And it took place in what amounted to what you were supposing, like almost like a Commodore 64-esque like landscape, but like it was 3D and had that look, which was pretty neat. And what you had to do is you had to guide these little AI people to fight computer viruses. And that were attacking the mainframe of the system.
That also
And
sounds kind of like, I mean, they would have been people in Tron, but that still sounds like a Tron kind of thing to do.
Yeah. It was really good though. Like you could direct, your little minion, your little guys. You could promote certain guys to make them leaders, and also like you could get them to throw. They automatically shot at things, but you could get them to shoot like grenades when you press the button. So that's why I say it's a little actiony.
Okay.
And so it was really, really good and had some of the best music of its time. I really, really loved this game. It was a lot of fun. I really liked it. Moving on, there's also the Fear trilogy along with the expansion games.
Oh yeah, Perseus Mandate, and I forgot the other one.
Yeah, but it's the Fear files that comes with both of them.
Yeah.
So those were also pretty important to early Xbox stuff. I mean, the original Fear came out on the 360. I think all three did.
Yeah, and they were on PS3 as well.
Yeah, but they played really well on the 360 for the time.
Yeah, and
I
everybody like, I mean, I don't know how much hype 2 and 3 got because like I still haven't played even the first one, but like everybody was talking about the first game. Like, can you
the original
this game?
Yeah, the original Fear was actually really fun. I that's the only one I actually played out of the three, and
I've seen bit
really
of it,
liked
and
it.
I know it had that slow mo, like the Max Payne slow mo stuff, which made it pretty cool.
Yeah, but the graphics and the enemy AI really shone.
Well, that
in this
was
game.
the thing. Yeah, what
Yeah.
if Max Payne, like, it's not the same attitude as Max Payne, but the basic gameplay, except like, current gen.
Yeah, no, it was just really a lot of fun to play, and was really beautiful and challenging. I really liked it. So this is another company that was very crucial to early Xbox. Sega put out a lot of
Oh
stuff.
yeah, Sega just divvied its stuff between Xbox or between Microsoft and Nintendo.
Yeah, there were a couple games on PlayStation as well, but not nearly as many as the other two.
Yeah, they really lean like, and I never touched like I had an understanding kind of PS2 games back in the day, but I never even looked at Xbox titles. And when I did later, like I couldn't believe
Oh, there's a ton of
how much
Sega
Sega.
games
Yeah,
on
like
there.
this is the other half of Sega's library.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that was intended for Dreamcast came to the OG Xbox.
Yeah, and GameCube.
Case in point here is Gun Valkyrie, which
Sure.
is a beautiful looking game at the time. It looked better than anything. Like it really, really looked freaking great. It is hard to play. It has a very strange control scheme. But I hear that some people like it. I didn't like it when it originally came out, but that doesn't mean I can't go back to it and try to take a look at it. But I do know that the graphics and art direction were second to none when it came out. For sure. I will preface this list and say the one game that probably a lot of hardcore Sega nerds really, really wanted to be on this list, which would be Jet Set Radio Future.
Yeah, that
did
game is
not
always
make it.
conspicuously absent.
It's because of soundtrack rights.
Yeah, yeah.
There are all kinds of crazy like deep cuts in that soundtrack. You wouldn't believe it, but there are like there's some like deep cuts from like Beastie Boys side projects and stuff in there that I think they would have a really hard time getting the rights for.
Is there also weird stuff like that? Oh no, what's that like poker song? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Or no, like no, Craps song.
Hardline.
Hardline.
Yeah.
Like does it count if they have to like also sample like wherever the hell that guy came from?
Yeah, I don't know. Shooter and
I got a hot hand.
Yeah.
What?
I don't. The Hideki Naganuma original songs. I think he just straight up sampled shit and didn't get clearance for it like constantly.
Yeah.
There is a like a Malcolm X quote in one of his best like Sonic Rush songs.
Wow.
It's too black, too strong. Like that's from an actual Malcolm X speech.
Wow.
like I don't think he cleared that at all.
Speaking of
Yeah.
Sonic Rush, I think this was one of the Sonic Rush games. One of my favorite tracks in that entire game is like, what was it, Haunted Ship or something? And there's a bit of a jingle in there that like I don't know where it originally came from necessarily, but it also showed up in like some weird fucking, it was like Frogger 2 or something like on PS1. It's like, what?
So, I know that probably Xbox approached Sega with this and probably really tried it because they got a lot of Sega games on this list and it was almost all of the ones that everybody wanted. The other Sega game that did not make the cut that like I would say is like an essential one would be Outrun 2006.
Oh, Coast to Coast?
Yeah, Coast to Coast. It is one of the best driving games I've ever played, and it still is.
Would this be because of like rights issues with the cars?
Actual Ferraris are used in the game.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, there we
correct.
go.
There's also Afterburner Climax, which was on the 360 that uses actual Boeing planes.
Come on.
And they lost the rights to all that too.
That's one of those things that gets me nervous about like if we ever want to port to the PS6. Like the Yakuza games in the PS3 and 4 era, that's going to be like the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Well, it might not be like limited time deals now. They might have stuff in perpetuity for future platforms.
Maybe. I mean, products, possibly. Although they did lose Don Quixote as of a few games ago. But like there's New Japan Wrestling and stuff like that, so I don't know.
Well, I gotta move on here and name some other stuff because there's plenty of really good games in here. So the original Manhunt is in here, which is a surprise. That was probably the most violent game that I could think of at the time that had like actually been released.
I would not say the most violent.
Brutal, maybe.
That's the thing. It's the way it's executed. It's very like, I don't know if gritty is necessarily the right word for it, but it's so just like blunt about it. It's like, I am going to put a plastic bag over a guy's head and fucking choke him until he dies, and you're just like, oh, like it's actually less violent than a lot of stuff around it, but it makes you feel dirtier.
I think because the realism of the violence.
That's the thing. It's handled like it's just very matter of fact about it. You're just kind of like,
yeah,
even
very psychotic.
For the simple kills, you're like, ooh.
Whereas most games are really fun with like fountains of blood, it's spurting everywhere. It's goofy. It's a cartoon.
This is like, I am going to kill a man.
Yeah, no, this is like it's straight up like a snuff film, like mixed with
and it's handled
like
that way
Escape
too.
from
Like
New
the
York.
aesthetic ties into that.
Yeah,
and even in the context of the game, you're being filmed.
Yeah, and it's kind of like mixed with an Escape from New York kind of atmosphere.
Sort of. Oh yeah, that's true. They have the themed gangs or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it almost has like a Warriors feel to it as well.
That was the thing with that. Well, that was the big thing on the cover, like the guy with the smiley face mask.
Yeah,
it's like kind of like Watchmen with like the fucked up like yellow smiley face.
Exactly. Yeah. The second game is way worse and never gets talked about. It straight up has like testicular torsion in it. Like,
well, from what I've heard, it was going to. I think that was censored like across the board, except like if you want to buy like the Russian
PC version?
CD-ROM. Yeah.
No, there's an official version, I think.
There is, but like you're not going to find it unless you really go looking. Like the Wii version on store shelves, nah. And not even because it's the Wii. It was on PS2 as well, but even so, no.
Like on the Wii, you straight up strangle people with the controller. Like
that's a whole other level. Like it's probably similar violence to the previous game, but now you're doing it. So like you again feel dirtier and like on a Nintendo
it's
console.
more violent. Like there's like actual like
that's true. I haven't actually seen
stuff like that.
Yeah, to be fair, I haven't actually seen the game. I can't imagine it's a radical, insane jump. But yeah, even so though, like
it's really disturbing,
it's just a gross game, and I don't mean gross like I can't look, but it's more just like I feel like I need to take a shower after playing this game.
Exactly. It's to be noted that Manhunt 2 is not on this list. Manhunt 1 is. Though there are some other Rockstar games, Max Payne 1 and 2.
I forgot that was Rockstar, actually. But yeah.
They published them on the Xbox. So
okay. And yeah, Max Payne 1 and 2.
And Max Payne 2 is one of the best, like story experiences in a video game ever. It's just so cool.
Regarding Max Payne, I think didn't Rockstar just publish those? Because those were like
correct.
Because they have like the Remedy. It's like FromSoft almost. They have like a Remedy universe. They have like a shared universe. Like Control acknowledges the existence of Alan Wake, for example.
Correct.
Alan Wake acknowledges not Max Payne, but they just have Sam Lake like just in the game. Like during a TV interview, can you give us the face? And he just the Max Payne face. Nice, it's awesome. It's great.
Yeah, I mean this game, the first game was really really cool. It's they coined the term bullet time with Max Payne. I don't know if people realize that it wasn't the Matrix that coined the effect.
That
Max
was just
Payne
like slow-mo or whatever, or like call it the Matrix thing or whatever it was.
Yeah, Max Payne is what gave it a name.
It's like everybody says New Game Plus, but like, where did that come from? Like Chrono Trigger, like it's called New Game Plus, and now everyone just has it as a term. Like there are so many things like that. I remember back in college, somebody was talking about like in a card game. It might have even been like not Magic the Gathering. There's a chance it might have been like Hearthstone or something, but they were talking about milling somebody, which means forcing them to discard a card. It might have been Magic actually, because it's just a colloquial term, but like that comes from Millstone from like 1994. It was an artifact called Millstone, and that's what it does. So just call it milling. Why not? And now you just say it without knowing where it comes from. It's like the save icon. It looks like a floppy disk, but like, do you even know what a 3.5-inch floppy disk is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not only are the first two here, but also the third game. All three games are really good.
Yeah, the
Two
third
is the
game is not
standout.
the third game is not Remedy, by the way, but apparently it's quite good.
Yeah, it's good on its own. I think it's just straight up a good game. And I think that one is Rockstar. That third one.
Okay.
Is like they made it. Yeah. These games are really, really fun. So I would definitely recommend it. Also, the original PC versions don't have controller support, so this is probably the best way if you prefer playing with a controller.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So there's also Mortal Kombat, which is, the which version of this might be the arcade version of Mortal Kombat. I don't
actual
know whether it's,
old OG Mortal Kombat?
I don't know whether this is Mortal Kombat like arcade or Mortal Kombat 9, because Mortal Kombat 9 is
No.
Mortal Kombat,
Mortal Kombat
right?
9 is PS3 360.
So it might be Mortal Kombat 9, because this
Oh,
is
if
a
it's a
backwards
360
compatible
port?
game. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Because I thought you were going to go into the GameCube, PS2, Xbox era of Mortal Kombat, which would have been Deadly Alliance, Deception, and Armageddon.
Well, they are bringing Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, which has never been ported.
Yeah, also a PS3 360 game.
Yeah, exactly. So
Less violent, though, because DC was
you
pretty adamant about you not, like, maiming their fucking characters.
I mean, for good reason. I mean,
Yeah,
but
I mean, you can punch the shit out of them. They have, like, heroic brutalities where they just, like, super punch you, but, like, you're not going to be splitting them in fucking half, like in Mortal Kombat 9.
yeah, I mean, this is where Joker first got introduced.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I don't know how, like whether people necessarily know this, but there's a move in Mortal Kombat. I believe it's 9. Mortal Kombat 9 came out after DC Universe, right? Am I right about that?
You mean Injustice?
No, I mean versus
Oh,
DC
yes.
Universe.
Yeah, so DC Universe was the last one before they rebooted.
Okay, so in Mortal Kombat 9, Shang Tsung has a move where he turns into a fatality, where he turns into a scary clown and dances around a little bit and then shoots you with a gun and kills you. That is, like, precisely the animations used in Joker's fatality, where he dances around like a goofball, points a gun, shoots it, bang, haha, joking, and then he pulls out a real gun and just blows your fucking brains out. Not graphically, he just shoots you in the head. But, like, the Mortal Kombat 9 Shang Tsung fatality is a wink to that.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because otherwise, like, why did he turn into a scary clown? Like, his whole thing is turning into Mortal Kombat characters. What's with the clown? But that's a wink to versus DC Universe.
Yeah, so I'm wondering which Mortal Kombat that is, because there's several. So I know that X and XL, 10 and
Yeah, and then the complete edition. That's just XL is just the complete edition. Just like
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat 9
exactly.
itself had a complete edition, except that the name XL is very clever.
yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But they really should have specified.
Yeah, you can't just say Mortal Kombat when there are two games that are called Mortal Kombat. Because Mortal Kombat 9 is not called Mortal Kombat 9. Just like Doom 2016 is not called Doom 2016, it's called Doom. So if you just say Doom, then I don't know what you mean.
I have no idea what you mean. But yeah, moving on from that.
Well, actually, if we're going to move on from this, you've been spending this whole time talking about emulation.
I meant from that game where there's more notable games here.
Okay.
I apologize. So Nier is on there, the original Nier. I'm just gonna go through them quickly at this point.
Well, yeah, because we're 2/3 done with the podcast.
Exactly. Oddworld, Munch's Odyssey, which is the third Oddworld game. Both Otage games for the original Xbox, which
FromSoft.
were FromSoft games that were really good. They
By
were a
the way,
lot of fun.
one thing I do want to point out about Nier, I know they released Replicant, so it's the remaster with the extra content and everything, but this is a good way to play as Dad Nier rather than Brother Nier, and his voice acting is so good. Like, I still recommend looking into the original version.
The original Red Dead Revolver, which is a surprise, because Red Dead Revolution, is it?
Revolution, Dance Revolution,
No,
Redemption.
Redemption. I'm sorry. Red Dead Redemption is has long been an Xbox favorite. In fact, it's
Yep.
probably the best way to play it. Ridge Racer 6. Let's see here. Skate 2, which, oh my god, that's so
Wow.
much fun there. Um, let's see, and almost done here. Time Splitters 2 and Time Splitters 3 Future Perfect.
Yeah, that'll make
Awesome
people
shit.
happy. You will
Yeah.
have been lucky to play this game.
Yeah, Time Splitters really were really awesome games back in the day. So especially 2 and 3. The first one not so much. So I definitely really recommend people play those games because they're really really fun. And Perry's favorite Time Pilot.
Nice.
But yeah, we're moving. We got to move on. But
So, you've been
yeah,
talking about emulation this whole time. Boy, do I have a segue for you.
go for it.
I think you're really going to like this. So, you may have wondered why I put Super Metroid on this
Oh
list.
yeah.
Well, there's been a person. I don't know if hacking is the right term. Like we call certain things hacks these days, but there's an SA1 project for certain.
Oh, is it another Vitor Viela?
That is correct. So they're making real
Oh,
progress on a Super Metroid SA1 hack. So for people who
awesome.
don't know what that is, and the SA1 is a particular chip in some Super Nintendo games like Super Mario RPG
Yeah.
that just allows for greater potential from the cartridge than would have been in a default cartridge. And I mean, you're not going to reprogram the entire game and add stuff to it necessarily, but putting in the SA1, like you can already see video of this for Gradius 3. Vice, do you remember the level in Gradius where like the
Yes.
enemies are like bubbles you can shoot
Yeah,
and
yeah.
explode to smaller bubbles?
It really slows the system down to a crawl.
Yeah, well, there's video on Twitter of like the SA1 hack version, and there is just zero slowdown. Like it's crazy. Like this shit's filling the screen, and it just doesn't matter. So this is great if you want to emulate these games or put them into an SD to SNES. I know it's called something different. I don't fucking care. But if you want to play it on real hardware, then like imagine Super Metroid with the game allowing for more sprites on screen potentially and less slowdown and stuff like that. So stuff that would normally cause a bit of delay may not at this point. Then it will just make for an overall smoother experience, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, he's been doing this for a while now, and he's even become out with like speedier RAM games that just are
Yeah,
programmed well.
yeah,
That have just like are programmed without any extra hardware, but to run better. But he's basically been making like games that have had notorious slowdown for the Super Nintendo just better. I mean, and
yeah.
these are games you love. I mean, there's like Contra 3 Alien Wars has one as
Yes.
well. That has quite a bit of slowdown, even though you may not
Well, that
like
game's brutal as
acknowledge it.
hell when you drop a bomb.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. So
So yeah, like
they
so Super Metroid, like we're not there yet, but like
he's getting there.
big steps have been made. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. He also released like a suite of tools for an SA1 version of like basically Mario Maker for Mario
Yeah.
World. So like it runs on SA1 and like you could place like shit all over the place and it won't slow down.
Yeah, I've seen those with those Mario hacks. Oh, I should
Yeah.
also mention, by the way, the big slowdown I can think of off the top of my head in Super Metroid is what I just mentioned for Contra. When you drop a power bomb,
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
you could just. I mean, you don't have to be a techie to notice like the slowdown when you drop a bomb. So imagine seeing it the way it was meant to be seen.
Yeah, yeah, really cool stuff. He's doing God's work, honestly. Really cool stuff. It's like this is the way. Speaking of like making your old games better, like this is the way they should have been. That kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, this isn't even I'm enhancing the games. It's like I'm making them well, like you said, like this is what was originally intended but was limited at the time.
Exactly. Another announcement from Warner Brothers. Multiversus. Did you check this out at all?
I heard the name. What is this, like another like crossover fighting game like Smash or whatever, like the
Yeah,
Nickelodeon
no,
thing?
it is definitely a Smash like.
Yeah, well this is another one of those things where like the concept of certain franchises crossing over is amusing, but like, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean it's just fun to talk about more than anything. I don't suspect I'm going to play it. But it is free to play, so that's good. So
Sure.
you I think you can add characters to it as time goes on.
I want to play as the Blue Monstar.
Well, what's cool is WB has a lot of franchises that you don't realize because they own DC Comics. They have the rights to Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. And Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes and all the Cartoon Network stuff. So there's a lot they can do with this and add to it. You have Shaggy from Scooby Doo, which is the funniest one if you ask me.
Who I think in the game might be voiced by Matt Lillard, which is amazing.
Oh, that is awesome.
He was the guy who played him in the James Gunn live action movies, and like, my God, that guy just is Shaggy. He really embraced the character.
Yeah, he was the live action version, like you said, and he's also well known for being character in Scream, yeah.
Hackers,
yeah,
where he's like a weird fucking off-putting like there are certain things where like it was not the director's input, like certain things like only this guy could have done, and you're like, how'd you make that decision? But it's so memorable.
In Scream, he's very particularly idiosyncratic.
He's like that in Hackers really as well, where he's just like, I don't know how you came up with this method, but like, it's very interesting though.
Yeah, no, his roles are memorable. He's also in Twin Peaks: The Return as well, in a pretty memorable role as well. So he's an interesting person. Rain Dog, who is an original character. He's basically a magical like dog with deer horns. Steven Universe, which isn't surprising. He's exactly the kind of character you'd think. Garnet from Steven Universe as well, which is perfect choice. She's the heavy in the show.
Yeah.
I guess they. I don't know.
Aren't they? Yeah, well, they're gems. I think they're all they.
No. They're specifically two female. Well, they are. All gems are female, except for Steven.
Okay, I didn't even realize that.
They are two people, like, combined.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know whether they refer to they or not. I'm not sure. Anyway, Harley Quinn, which isn't surprising in the slightest. Very marketable. Arya Stark from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
It's so weird. Yeah. But a cartoony version of her.
It's not like hardcore live action, like super dour Arya Stark.
Yeah, Finn the Human from Adventure Time.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman from Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Oh, what's she from? Yeah.
Jake the Dog from Adventure Time, which is also not a surprise. Superman, Batman, from Detective Comics. Bugs Bunny, and Tom and Jerry is a single character.
Oh, sure.
So that's it so far, but it was just fun to see, Shaggy like smack somebody with a picnic basket.
Yeah, everyone's joking about Ultra Instinct's Shaggy, and now this is like, maybe this is our chance.
But there's plenty more stuff they can add. I think I saw Gandalf at one point, which is
so bizarre.
Yeah, it is weird. Let's move on because there's plenty of other stuff here to talk about. A Pac-Man Museum Plus was announced for Switch 2022. This is a really cool collection. So this has all of the, like, a ton of Pac-Man games. And conspicuously missing a very prominent one.
Well, Miss Pac-Man?
Yes, that's correct. But we'll get into that. But, Pac-Man, Super Pac-Man, which was the intended sequel to Pac-Man, which was made by its original creator. Then Pac-N-Pal, which is the third game. Pac-Land, which is a lot of people say that this is the first side-scrolling platformer ever made, like even before Super Mario Brothers. It is basically the inspiration for Super Mario Brothers, but it is very difficult and weird. Pac-Mania, which is the isometric-looking Pac-Man game where you can hop.
Sure.
I actually really like this one. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I do. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it looks neat. It's kind of fun. Pack Attack, which is the puzzle game. Pack in Time, which is really weird platformer, kind of almost like a sequel to Pac-Land. Very weird. Pac-Man Arrangement arcade version, which is actually a really, really, really fun. It's basically like an updated version of the original Pac-Man, but with extra, like mazes, and it's more colorful, and it's like quicker, and it has like power-ups. It's actually really fun. And then there's the console version arrangement, which came out on the PSP of all places, and it's really good. It even has boss battles in it. I really recommend this one. Pac-Man Arrangement console version. It's really, really good. The original Pac-Man Championship Edition, which is amazing. It's really, really, really fun. Pac-Motos. I don't know that one. Pac-and-Roll Remix, which is kind of like Super Monkey Ball, almost. Pac-Man Battle Royale, which is the most recent arcade Pac-Man game.
Is that the one where you can eat like 20 ghosts in a row?
No, that's actually Pac-Man Championship 2,
Okay.
Championship Edition 2, which is not included in this. But Pac-Man Battle Royale is 4-player Pac-Man, basically. There are 4 different colored Pac-Man characters on screen, and you fight for control of the board. It's really fun. And Pac-Man 256, which was originally a mobile game made by the Crossy Road people, who made basically like kind of a clone of Frogger, but better.
Yeah.
But Pac-Man 256 was really fun. It's based off of the kill screen concept. The kill screen's coming after you, and you have to keep going, kind of thing. And it's really fun. It's really good. But yeah, you are right. Conspicuously missing is a game that is a lot less obscure than a lot of the other ones on here, like Pac-and-Pal. Jeez. Which is Miss Pac-Man. I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but Miss Pac-Man was originally basically a hack made by like an aftermarket company that installed like an add-on board, an unofficial add-on board to Pac-Man systems. Basically it was so popular because it had more mazes and was faster and like a few other, improvements that, Midway ended up purchasing it from them. When Midway was the original distributor of Pac-Man in the U.S., but didn't get Namco's permission to do it, who were the original people who made Pac-Man. So, just shenanigans ensued, and Midway made a lot of their own sequels. There's also Pac-Man Jr., and Professor Pac-Man that they made, and also Baby Pac-Man. They made like a whole bunch of sequels on their own that aren't here. That Namco like basically disavows their their existence. It's kind of like Nintendo disavows like the CDI.
Yeah.
Zelda and Mario games. There's like they're non-canon, but Miss Pac-Man's so goddamn popular that they can't ignore it most of the time.
By the way, it's kind of funny that the CDI games are non-canon because like it's probably the best version of Zelda herself in anything Nintendo's ever done.
Well, Breath of the Wild.
Okay, I haven't played Breath of the Wild, but Zelda has like a real
good.
personality in CDI, and she just didn't for like 20, 30 years.
Well, there's Tetra as well. Tetra's a really good Zelda. She's awesome in that game.
Yeah, that was a reveal that she was Zelda, but of course, as soon as she becomes Zelda, she loses her personality.
Well, they got better over time. Twilight Princess, she's barely the fuck in it.
She's not even a character in fucking Twilight Princess. I couldn't believe that. I think she might have more to do in not Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, perhaps.
Yeah, no, she's literally dead, but
well, she is, but I think she's a character.
But as a character, yeah, and she's more of a fleshed out character in Skyward Sword as well. But
okay,
she is a fantastic character in Breath of the Wild, like really, really good, really fleshed out and very human, gripping with the loss and disappointment of what happened in the game. So it's a really good character in that one. But I'm just saying this is a really, really good collection of Pac-Man games, despite Miss Pac-Man not being in there. Also, I believe the actual rights to Miss Pac-Man aren't owned by Namco right now, so that they pay some like shitty company that's like extorting them in order to like actually license it, which is really we reported on it a couple years ago. I think that's still the case.
Yeah, we definitely talked about it. Yeah,
yeah, it's awful stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't think you would be able to see that much. Moving on from that, Elder Scrolls 6, the sequel to Skyrim.
Yeah, Skyrim
is of course going to be Xbox and PC exclusive. I don't know why you would ever think it wouldn't be, considering that Bethesda was bought by Microsoft.
Yeah.
But
my guess is timed exclusive, but we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, if you didn't expect this, you're dumb.
Yeah, I don't know what you're thinking. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I mean, it makes sense. Moving on from that, Retrobit announced Gaiares Special Edition. Did you hear about this?
Nope, because I mean, just the name sounds like it's some kind of shooter.
It is.
I don't know this shit.
So Gaiares is famous for having a very kitschy magazine ad. Of all things, it has like a guy in a mullet going, "Gaiares is #1." And he has like an straight up achy breaky heart mullet, like straight up 90s ass mullet. And he's smiling, and it's great. But yeah,
it's like weird little thing, like Shatterhand's cover. How's the game? That's pretty good, but that cover.
Well, Gaiares is actually one of the best shmups on Genesis, so it's not like it doesn't have the chops.
No, I know, but it's like, why do you know about it? Like that weird ad.
It's true. It's like Phalanx.
It's like Phoenix.
Yeah, Phalanx.
Or I said Phoenix. Yeah, Phalanx.
But there's some really cool stuff. You can reverse the sleeve to make it look like the Mega Drive Japanese version. This was also made by Wolf Team Messiah, so this is made by published by Renovation in the United States.
Yeah. Friends of the channel. They brought us Revenge of the Ninja.
Oh yeah. And Gaiares, it also has the shirt that he was wearing in the advert. Actually comes with it, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, it looks really good, and looks like I suspect this will be released on modern consoles as well eventually, kind of like a lot of the other shmups have been lately, like Clay Lancer. But yeah, for right now, this is a reissue for Sega Genesis. But they did do a new version of the poster. They did like a side by side with the the Jamie Bunker as he is now without the mullet. Mm-hmm. Like his current age. Yeah. Just like giving a finger up there, number
That's
one.
Pretty great. I love weird stuff like that. Like, remember that one-off thing you did way back then? Like, I remember they might have done this on the Colbert Report or something, but there was a guy who's like a severe, like, grizzled badass in Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah.
And they called back to some old, like, maybe it was commercial he did or whatever, like some anti-drug thing back when he was like a kid. Like, you don't want to do stuff like LSD, man. Like, it'll mess you up. And it's just funny to see like this, like, monster of a man today just like taking the piss out of an ad he did like 30 years ago. It's just very funny.
Yeah. It's like Paul Rudd doing like a Super Scope reference or something like that.
Like, because what? Yeah.
But you can get this on Limited Run or Castlemania, and it's pretty reasonable for this kind of thing. Usually these go upwards of like $80 to like $100 for a limited edition like thing like this reissue, but it's actually very reasonable at $55. I think that's actually very reasonable.
Yeah, for stuff like this, that ain't bad.
For this. Yeah, it comes with a shirt and a brand new cartridge and everything, so I think it's very reasonable. Moving on from that, Analogue finally announces when the Analogue Pocket will ship its pre-orders.
Yeah, Jesus, it's been a while.
Yeah, December 13th, which isn't too the fuck off from now. So, Well, I guess, it does look like it's going to be a good piece of hardware. But, it's just been poorly handled. But I'm sure it will be a very good piece of hardware. Did you pre-order that one, Lotus? I
No,
didn't.
that
I
was
didn't
something that I'd
myself.
considered because, like, ooh, with a dock function, I could play weird stuff like Link's games. But that was like, I'm never gonna do that.
I thought the same thing, and also I have a Mister now, and like the Mister does a lot of the things that I would want this thing to do.
Yeah,
And
like the whole thing with these is like if you have these Link's games or Neo Geo Pocket Color games, like, oh boy, but I don't.
yeah, the main reason why I wanted to play is the Neo Geo Pocket Color games, but honestly, the emulated versions trump this. Like
Yeah, I
the
was gonna say there's only like two or
yeah.
three games you might want to play that Nintendo is not offering right now, like Sonic.
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, that's like kind of a stripped down version of Sonic Two. Like
Okay.
the ones that I would want to play are the fighting games, and almost all of the really good fighting games for the system. I think pretty much all of them. That I can think of, have been ported, and with like a single screen 2-player mode, which is what I've always really wanted them to have. And they never had that before, and no emulator that I know of had that ability. So I got what I wanted, from those emulations. So I find it very hard to beat that. I don't want the original version anymore. I like the new versions even better. So
Yeah, they're enhanced. Yeah.
exactly. So I think it's a really cool thing. Don't get me wrong, but it's not for me. I don't go on the go and play a lot of things on the go anymore, as well. So I can see the appeal of that. But if I want to play some of these games on the go, I'll just break out my DS Lite and my EverDrive, and play a GBA game if I want to do that, which is what the primary thing is going to be for. Moving on from that, the Cowboy Bebop live action show is out on Netflix. It's very popular, though every single person that I've seen watch it complains about how it's just the same thing but live action. So
Well, that's the main thing I've
yeah.
seen. Like everybody on Twitter is isolating small clips and saying, "See, this is why this sucks and why I won't watch it." But everyone who is actually watching it seems to enjoy it.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Maybe it's not for you if you're a gigantic Cowboy Bebop fan. I can understand you being upset because it's a new Cowboy Bebop thing and it should be for you because you've put it on a pedestal and decried it as your favorite thing, or announced it as your favorite thing. But like I am a gigantic fan of the original anime myself, and I really love it. But here's the thing: a lot of people, I know it's hard to believe this, but a lot of people just don't like anime. Um, it's a thing. Like it's a fact.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
that's why, I mean, a lot of live action adaptations of things are like, you've never heard of it or wouldn't have watched it if you had, so
yeah,
maybe this version is for you.
exactly. So it's like
But I think I
it's not.
mentioned this before. My dad has been watching like the Rurouni
Kenshin.
Kenshin, like live action stuff because it's available on Netflix, and like he's never heard of this shit, and there's a 0% chance he's knew it was an anime, and if he did, you probably couldn't pay him to watch it. But he's like, oh, this movie about the sword fighter's pretty good. Like, there you go. Like that's what it is.
For instance, my wife, likes a lot of movies and stuff like that, but she just doesn't like anime. She just doesn't. I've tried. I tried to get her to watch Cowboy Bebop, before this was a thing,
Yeah, that's a
and
decent way to
and
start it.
and she just, well, it's a really good gateway because it's not very tropey,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
episodic and it's very Western for an anime.
yeah, and it also fits her style of movie that she likes, like crime, movies and stuff like that, noir. Kind of stuff. She loves that kind of stuff. Her favorite movie's Pulp Fiction, so
Sure.
it kind of fits tonally. to a lot of that stuff. But anyway, and the music is just fantastic, right? So
Yeah, the music is untouchable.
She's actually excited to watch this because she's more interested in, Jonathan Cho. She likes the actor and likes the sets. I mean, to be honest, the set quality and all the background stuff is on par with, something like, Sin City, which was a good adaptation of Sin City.
Yeah, they've been really meticulous about recreating things like background characters and individual shots and stuff like that.
So I'm not going to call it... this is something I'm going to want to watch because I want my wife to see the show. I am a little disappointed that it isn't more of the thing I want, like more bad guys, that, more bounties, that kind of thing, or even just like something with different characters in the same universe.
What other adventures might they have gone on that we didn't know about?
But I am looking forward to watching it with somebody who wouldn't otherwise want to watch it. So,
sure.
I don't... I think, like I said, maybe this just isn't for you. It doesn't look bad in that respect, to me. And I just thought this was something that you would want to hear about. You probably heard about it before I did. There is a Jojo spin-off coming out.
Yeah,
I don't know
actually,
if you know
shockingly,
any more about this
I
than
have not heard about this.
Oh, okay.
But I went ahead and looked it up, though. Yeah, Crazy Diamond's Demonic Heartbreak. So what little I got from it is apparently it's supposed to be a Part 4, so Josuke, prequel. So before all the shit goes down in Part 4. But apparently he runs into a whole horse? Like,
oh, wow.
What the fuck?
From Part 3?
Are they even going to care about each other's existence? I don't even know what this is going to be.
Wow. That's awesome.
Like, Whole Horse is just like such a throwaway character. Like, what is this? I'm quite curious.
Yeah, he was one of like the wimpy villains, right? Of 3, right?
Yeah, I mean, they made him a bigger deal than he was going to be because he he seemingly kills a particular character, but it's like a named character.
Yeah.
And at the time, fans were like, "Really? This named character that I care about dies to like the villain of the week? Really?" So they brought that character back later, but they also gave Hull Horse more to do later. Like, he pops up one more time and then just leaves. So he's just like a really curious character, and his philosophy is pretty entertaining. He's not hero material because he's a villain, but he's not full big bad villain material either, because his philosophy in life is it's better to be number 2 than number 1, because number 2 is the most powerful you can get without being targeted by all of the authorities. Like, they're going to go after the big boss.
It's the blue shell philosophy.
It's a what?
It's the blue shell philosophy.
Yeah, no, basically. Yeah, when player 8 fires the nuke, it's gonna not hit me, it's gonna hit the guy in front of me. So yeah, like that's Whole Horse's big thing. So he does not aspire to power. Like, he will happily be a mook for, in this case, Dio, but like whomever.
Yeah. That's really cool though. This is going to be running. This isn't just like a throwaway, like one.
No, they said it's showing up in Ultra Jump. Like, what?
Yeah, this is going to be a full-fledged.
So this isn't even like Part 9. This is just like a bizarre spin-off that I don't even. I guess
Literally.
There's the Spoke Rohan Kishibe. That's a spin-off, but like these don't usually happen.
Yeah,
and even the
really
Spoke
cool.
Rohan Kishibe spin-offs, it's like 8 different one-off spin-offs.
And one more thing from you, actually.
Yeah, this is a brief one, but this concerns One Piece. Just this past weekend, they aired episode... Vice?
I have no idea.
1,000.
Wow!
Yeah, they have aired 1,000
I better get
episodes.
going on this.
The actual stuff that happened in the episode was, like, not terribly consequential as far as moving the plot forward, but at the same time, precisely because it's 1,000, it really shouldn't have been. Like, a big fight was starting among the good guys and the bad guys, but they didn't want to actually advance anything and have the big episode 1,000 be, like, in the middle of a fight. So it was more each character doing one of their cool moves against a bunch of mooks, and then when they did, it showed, like, very brief flashes about where they've been and how far they've come over the past 1,000 episodes. But what really got me actually was the opening, because 1,000 episodes, right? 14 movies, 23 opening theme songs.
Wow.
It's been a while. But what was really nostalgic about this one was I keep forgetting this. Did you finish Samurai Jack? Did you see the final season?
No, but I know a bunch about it.
All right, because one of the things they did in the final episode was super cute, where the last episode opens with the original Cartoon Network, like cartoons opening,
Oh, neat.
where Aku narrates it. Like, he unleashed an unspeakable evil, like that opening.
Yeah.
But they played with it by having Aku like airing that on TV when he was going to do his big move. So that's why it was in like 4x3. It was pretty funny. But in One Piece, they just played like the original opening again, and it was in 4x3. But after a point, like, they still follow the original opening when the Going Merry goes sailing off into the ocean. But when it does, the black bars like pull back to make it widescreen, which was pretty cool. But what really entertained me is that it was the opening theme song again. It was the original one, but it's a little hard to describe. Like, if you'd seen the original opening, you would know. But like, the characters in the opening were like, there's a thing where Luffy runs toward a cliff and jumps off it.
Yeah. It's very quaint.
But like, they replaced the characters in that opening with their current iterations.
Oh, wow.
Which was super cool.
Yeah, like either whatever battle damage they have or whatever, whatever transformation.
Yeah, like Zoro's got one eye closed at all times. Luffy has an X scar on his chest, but he's wearing like the cool like cloak looking thing instead of like being a little kid. So like it was super nostalgic to see. It was old and new at the same time.
That's awesome. Well, that's really cool. What a milestone, jeez. There are very few...
I was just going to say, I can't think of many things. Like, the last time I specifically heard about something hitting episode 1000, it was, like, the collective, like, Kamen Rider, like, a few years ago. Because every Kamen Rider season is, like, what is it, like, 40-something or 50-something episode? But, like, collectively, Kamen Rider's broken, like, 1,000 episodes at this point. But yet One Piece has done it. One Piece has been airing, like, I don't even know about the manga, but it's been airing, like, since we were in middle school. That's when I first heard about it. It was, like, episode 50, Rogue Town, or Log Town, I guess, because prologue, but it was spelled Rogue Town because log, rogue, like, and it's a bunch of rogues, I guess, but it's probably Log Town.
To give you an idea, even The Simpsons doesn't even have that many episodes. And that's
Simpsons
been airing
is, like, by
89.
far the longest cartoon in America, and probably the longest running sitcom as well.
Yeah, it is the longest running primetime show. It's a primetime scripted show.
Because the thing with America is, like, when a season's done, we'll take a break until next season. But Japan, unless something like happens, like Attack on Titan or whatever, like, they've actually been making us wait for Attack on Titan because they'll make a season and release it. But One Piece, unless like there's a problem behind the scenes or unless it's like a holiday, it's just every week. They just keep going.
Yeah, and not only that, but like they also have material to work off of. Like Simpsons has only like 13 like half-hour episodes per season, just about. So it's understandable that something like One Piece, which is basically an action soap opera, that has a lot more.
And I can't imagine it going on for much longer than it already is. Like, I mean, the arcs get longer and longer, so who knows how long it'll actually be before the series ends. But, like...
It feels like it's getting there, right?
I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, I can't imagine there being more than maybe 2 more arcs. Like, well, they gotta fight Blackbeard, and they gotta fight the Navy. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do between that, because, like, what they're currently doing is fucking absurd. Like... I mean, I've said this even years ago. How do you escalate more than this? And they keep doing it, and they keep proving me wrong. So I'm gonna, at the risk of sounding like a fool, which I almost certainly will, how do you escalate it past this?
Well, you know what? Anime and manga are known for having planned, like, arcs and
Yeah.
and endings. So Araki will want to finish it, right?
Yeah, no,
So
I mean, I can imagine, like again, Blackbeard's got to be the big bad final boss pirate, and the Navy HQ has got to be the big bad final boss Navy, but like, if there's a third thing, I don't know what it's gonna be. Like, we gotta be getting there. Like, come on.
yeah, so like basically, like for people that don't know much about One Piece, like there have been so many things that they've hinted at and teased at for like big bad characters, and they've caught up to
They
almost
have
all
teased
of them.
things hundreds of episodes in advance.
And they've caught up to a lot of them.
Like,
So
there's an aspect of Sanji and his family which they only revealed in like the Big Mom arc. So this is only like a few years ago. Like around, like, this is when Old Man Stumpy and Pyro Jack Frost were on the podcast. So it's recent enough that we were doing the podcast, but it's far enough back that they were on it.
I mean, 5 years is nothing in One Piece time.
Yeah, like they revealed something about like Sanji's like family at around that time, but they teased it without us knowing it was a tease. In like episode fucking like 50 or 60 or 70 something. Like
Wow.
like again, when I would have been in middle school or high school, like a decade in advance. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, and it really hasn't gotten tiring. Like every One Piece fan is still riveted. It hasn't like hit the point where there's just like this is just silly now, or it doesn't matter anymore. Like people are still loving it.
Yeah, no, like I don't know how they do it. Like, there are certain things where it's like, oh, maybe I would skip this arc, but like One Piece, there are some weaker arcs maybe, but I don't think I would skip any of them unless they're like obviously the filler stuff, and even
Sure.
those don't last long. Like, some people talk smack about the Davy back arc, but like that's some goofy fun shit, man. I like that.
Yeah,
What was the guy's name with the slow? I know you're not gonna know this. No. Foxy. That guy's goofy as shit.
it's just one of those things. When you have all good shit, I mean, there's gonna be things that that stick out a little bit, as not being
Well, yeah, well,
up to
not
the
even
same
like it's
caliber.
just bad, but it's like, why are we stalling for time here? But like,
Yeah.
that was fun. Davy back was fun.
Nice. Well, if there's not anything else that you'd like to add, is there anything else here?
I mean, I know we're getting long. I'll mention this for
No,
1
it's
second.
okay.
I finally started playing Lost Judgment. It is very
Oh, cool.
entertaining. They said that it was probably darker than the first game, and I'm seeing it. We're going into some like kind of dark, creepy territory. There's definitely that going on. There are also, I had mentioned that the first Judgment exists in a vacuum, except for one, possibly two winks to an outside universe that you don't need to have played to, like you don't need to
Sure.
get the jokes. Lost Judgment has more of those. Like, what's that? There's a monkey driving a steam shovel. This I gotta see. And I'm like, I remember that from an earlier Yakuza game, but like, it's stuff like that where you don't need to know. So it's not as much in a vacuum, but it still is.
I am currently playing. I know I said I would probably stay away from this, but I ended up buying it anyway. Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Oh, sure.
So I did not like 4 at all because it was so goddamn hard. But I figured I'd give it another shot because this game is on a total different level in terms of like the company knows that this game is on a total different level in terms of popularity at this point in this series because of how popular Persona 5 was.
Yeah, this might be the first. I mean, I know we've gotten most of the Shin Megami Tensei games that weren't like PC exclusives over
Correct.
here in the West, but like, yeah, this might be the first Shin Megami Tensei game that was like straight up popular. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's always had its audience in the West, like
Correct.
the people who are into those weird esoteric games, but like,
Even 4
4
wasn't this popular. Yeah.
yeah, like 4 was like, well, now that you've seen how cool Persona 4 was, get a load of this. But like, now it's just straight up, yes, I will play a Shin Megami Tensei game. Like, I'm into it now.
They finally made the game like friendly enough like I know it's supposed to be hard. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of this series has been held back by just archaic like design choices. Just like stuff that quality of life crap that really makes a difference. And like this game like will straight up retain it will tell you like enemy types, what weaknesses that you've already revealed on them, kind of like it does in the Persona games now. So like the games didn't always do that. I hate to tell you, and also the game starts you off a little gently. Like it tells you actually how to play the game, which. I hate to tell everybody, the Shin Megami Tensei series for a very long time was not user-friendly. Like, you would need to pick up a guide to learn how to play it, because it was so obtuse, and how you wanted to play it. And compared to other RPGs, it doesn't play like other RPGs.
Even back in the day, like, if you knew anything about SMT, you'd know that Nocturne was going to kick your ass.
Yeah, like people bought it because it was the one that was going to kick your ass. Like it was the hardest shit out there.
And it's featuring Dante from Devil May Cry, which, by the way, I should point out, was DLC in Japan, or not DLC. I think it was like some sort of like there was like it was like back in those days you had to buy the complete version of the game. You know, like Devil May Cry 3 Special.
Yeah.
So I think it was like that
like
for
a
Japan,
separate edition.
but America just got it with Dante. So like. Even though it's shitty, the HD release of that game maintains authenticity by having Dante as DLC even in the West, which that's some bullshit, but like that is how it was in Japan.
But yeah, I played a few minutes of it and I actually really am enjoying myself. And I did not expect to. Like I was hoping to, but like the I've been burned so many times, and I tried to get through Persona 3, and I got pretty far on the PSP version of Persona 3 on the Vita, and I liked those games, but they never quite clicked with me, just because I have like decision paralysis with them, because like there's so much crap that you can just mess up and not get because you picked the wrong dialogue choice.
Yeah, that's why I just play the entire game with the Game Facts guide open at all times.
Yeah. So this game doesn't appear to be like that, the fifth one. And I'm actually really enjoying myself. The reason why I picked it up, I know it sounds corny, is like it got good reviews, and also there was a steelbook version for not any extra money. Cool. Yeah. So I was just like, I'm a sucker for steelbooks. So I ended up getting it, and I'm enjoying myself. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that this might be the first SMT game that really clicks with me. I'm sure I probably would have liked Persona 4 or 5, but I never got that far. I wanted to play 3 first. So yeah, no, I'm really enjoying myself. So anything else for the good of the order there, Lotus?
No, I think we're good. Yeah.
That's the show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. Helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Thursday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, where we will be going over the Ghostbusters franchise. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on pretty much anything. Just make sure you give me a heads up.
And you could follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, or getting in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
Well, that's just prime. We will catch everybody on Thursday then.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.